Hello ladies and gentle ladies, welcome back to another Minecraft modding tutorial for 26.1 MultiLoader. And in this tutorial we're going to add some animations to our entity. So in the entity tutorial we did create some very basic math animations in here. However, these will not really suffice when we want to make some more complex animations. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Mojang's new animation system that appeared in about 1.19, I believe, and we're going to use that to create some more complex animations. So in this tutorial we're going to make an animation for the idle state, we're also going to make an animation for sitting, and we're going to make an animation for taming, and in the future we're going to have an animation for opening and closing our entity, but we'll deal with those then. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to start off inside of Blockbench, and we're just going to go ahead and create these animations. So I have my BB model here, and you want to come up to the animate tab in the top right. Now you see here I already have my 5 animations. I've already created these. So you see here this is my idle animation, so I can just press play and you see this is what it does. So this one loops. Then I have my sit animation, which just sits the entity down. Then I have my tame animation as well. So that is my tame animation, a bit goofy, but it's a tame animation. It doesn't need to be anything too special. Then I have my open animation and I have my close animation as well. So those are all of the animations I have. Now I'm briefly, very briefly going to show you how to add an animation. So what you want to do is you just want to press this add animation button. Here you can first of all choose the name of your animation. Doesn't really matter what you call it, just be sensible. Then you can choose the loop mode. So my sit animation, for example, will hold on the last frame because once it's done, it needs to stay in that sitting pose. My tame animation is just a play once because it just plays the animation once. And then an example of a loop animation I have is the idle animation because that one will loop infinitely. In this case, we'll just do loop just for the sake of it, just to show you. Then here you have override, which I believe is for whether this should override other animations, but honestly I'm not too sure about all of these ones. Animation override, snapping, animation time update, blend weight, I'm not sure about all of those. If anyone knows in the comments, please let me know and I'll pin your comment. But otherwise I'm no animation expert, so I'm not sure what these values are for. And then you have the start delay and loop delay, which obviously only appear on loop. The other ones just have a start delay. We're not going to worry about those. And then we'll just hit confirm. Okay, once you have done that, here is where your timeline is. So this is where all your keyframes will be. And you see in the outline here, we have all of the groups. Now we'll see that we only have the groups because, as I said in the entity tutorial, you can only animate groups. So we're going to grab, for example, the body. Let's grab a position just like that. Let's go 1.0 and let's put another keyframe. Then we'll say at 0.5 I'm going to move the position up by like 20, and then I'm going to come back to the start. I'm going to add a rotation, and I'm going to add a rotation here as well, and I'm just going to say at the very end that my rotation will be 360, so I can rotate it by 360 just like that. Now you see this is changing the value over here on the left, so obviously you can go ahead and just directly modify these values if you want to, and that will work too. But using the handles is obviously the easiest way. If we now go ahead and just play our animation, you see that is how our animation will look. And then you can obviously go ahead and extend this further. So maybe we want the lid to open whilst it's moving up and down. So what we can do is we can just select the lid. Then we can add in the rotation. And at the end, we can set that rotation as well. And then maybe at like 0.5, we set that rotation again, and we just maybe rotate it back by, I don't know, 150, just like that. And that means that when we play our animation, that will open and close as well. Now we can go ahead and modify these keyframes. So we can modify them to have an interpolation. So you have linear, smooth, and Bezier. Smooth is basically like, in this case, it would be like it's on a trampoline. Bezier is like a curve. So it's like a very curved animation, and then step will basically just jump straight to the keyframe. Linear is just a very straight movement between 2 points, so there's no curving at all. It will just go at the same speed the whole time. Smooth will try and kind of smooth that out. Bezier kind of curves in the middle, and then step just jumps straight between them. So for example, we could make this one Bezier, and if we do that, you'll see that kind of curves. It's quite hard to see, but it is doing that. So that is how you make an animation. Now once you are done with your animation, you go ahead, make sure you save your BB model. Most importantly, very important, because you don't want to lose this afterwards. You want to be able to edit it, and then we can just export as a modded entity animations. You can select the animations that you want to export. I'm going to choose all of them and hit confirm. Then inside of our client package, we're going to come into a new animations package, which I've already created here, and I'm just going to save that in there. Then we can go ahead and close this. I can discard because I've already saved my BB model. And inside of animations, we can start editing this file. So first of all, let's get rid of the comments, and then let's set the package name as well. And let's also make sure we import keyframe from net.minecraft.client.animation, and also make sure we rename the file as well. I'm also actually going to rename this file to example entity animations, just so that's a little bit cleaner. And then I'm going to rename all of these variables to idle and to set. Just make sure that they are using the Java convention for constants, which is upper snake case. And that is all of our animations. Now, once we have done that, we can come into our entity class, and first of all, we need to create some animation states, which we can use to control the state of the animation. And that includes such as playing the animation, that can be stopping the animation, that can be getting the current time of the animation, and all of those different shenanigans. So let's do a private final animation state. This will be the idle animation state, and that'll be equal to a new animation state. Then we are just going to duplicate this for all our other animations. So I'm going to add tame, and I'm going to add sit. Then I'm also going to add in here a boolean, which will be the pending sit animation. And the reason I'm adding this is because otherwise my tame animation and my sit animation are going to collide with each other. So I just need to add this boolean that will basically make sure that the sit animation is delayed until after our tame animation has finished. We'll go ahead and code that in a second, but that is just a boolean I know that I am going to need to have. Then inside of mob interact, we're going to go ahead and kind of clean this up a little bit, just get rid of some of the stuff that we don't really need. So what we're going to do is get rid of set target null and also this .navigation.stop. We're just going to get rid of those lines. Then we're going to do the exact same thing in our else if statement. So we're going to get rid of jumping false, navigation stop, and set target to null. Then we're going to add a tick method, and we do need to call the super.tick, but we'll do that at the very end of the tick method. At the very start, we're first of all going to check if we're client side, since we don't want to modify any of our animations on the server side. So we're going to say if level.is client side. Now, one thing I'm quickly going to do is I'm going to suppress all these warnings about the level. Those are not really issues, so I'm just going to suppress that for the class, and that just adds the suppress warnings at the very top. Inside of here, we first of all want to animate our idle animation, and we only want to do this if the entity is not in water, since if they're in water, ideally they have some kind of maybe floating animation, or if they are moving, then we also don't want to play our idle animation. So what we will do is we'll say this.idle animation state, and we can say animate when, and the first parameter here is the condition that decides whether this animation should animate. So we're going to say not is in water and not this.walk animation is moving, and then we're going to pass in this .tick count. Then what we're going to want to do is we're going to make sure that once the tame animation has finished, it will go ahead and start our sit animation if that sit animation is pending to be started. So what we can do is we can say if this .tame animation state is started and the tame animation state gets time in millis, pass in this tick count, is going to be greater than our animation length. So I know that my animation length is 1.5 seconds, and you can just grab grab that from your animation class. So if we look in here and we look for tame, I can see that mine is 1.5 seconds, so 1.5 seconds. So that's 1,500 milliseconds, because this is time in millis. Now you can make that a constant if you wish. In this case, I'm not going to bother because I already know what that is anyways. Now in that case, what we just want to do is we want to say this dot tame animation state dot stop, and then we want to say if we are pending the sit animation, then I'm going to do this dot sit animation state, and we're going to say start if it is currently stopped, pass in the tick count, and then we'll just set the pending sit animation to false. The next thing that we need to do is we need to listen for the taming succeeded entity event, and we're going to use that to be able to play our tame animation on the client side. So we're going to override the method handle entity event. Make sure you have that super cool in there, and then we're going to say if id is equal entity event dot taming succeeded, then we're going to say this dot tame animation state dot start, and we're going to pass in this dot tick count. Then next we're going to override our set ordered to sit method, and we're just going to make it so this method does a lot of the stuff that we previously had inside of our mob interact. So we're going to say first of all set in sitting pose, and we're just going to need to set that to ordered to sit. Then we just want to set this dot jumping equal to false. We want to say this dot navigation dot stop, and we want to set the target to null. The final thing that we need to go ahead and do in this class is we need to go ahead and listen to when our sitting pose changes so that we know whether we should start that animation or stop that animation. So what we're going to do is we're going to override the method on synced data updated, and make sure you choose the one that has an entity data accessor. You will want to keep the super, however that should be at the very bottom of this method. In here what we're going to do is we're going to say if data underscore flags underscore ID is equal to the accessor. And the reason we're going to do that is because data flags ID is what tameable animal uses to determine whether it has just been tamed or whether it's sitting. So we can use that to grab some information. So once we know that is the accessor that is being synced, then we can say if is in sitting pose. Then we can say if this dot tame animation state dot has started or is started is the method name. Then we can say this dot pending sit animation is equal true, and then we can do this dot sit animation state dot stop, and else we can just say this dot sit animation state dot start if stopped, and pass in this dot tick count. Finally, we're going to put an else on the is in sitting pose. So if it's not in the sitting pose, then we want to say pending sit animation is equal to false, and we want to do this dot sit animation state dot stop. Once we have done all of that, that is our entity class done. So that is all of the logic that determines when all of our animations should play. The next thing to do is actually going to be in our renderer, and that is because we need to grab those animation states from our entity and put them into the render state so that we can access them in the model. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to create a class that extends living render state, and this is going to hold our animation states that we want the model to have access to. So inside of the client package, I've already created a new state package in here. We're going to create a new class, and I'm going to call this example entity render state. This will just extend living entity render state, and then we're just going to have some public final animation state idle animation state, and that's going to be equal to a new animation state. And we just want to duplicate that for the tame and sit animations, just once again making sure that these are public because we need to directly access these in the model. Then inside of our renderer, we just want to change this to no longer use the living entity render state and instead use our example entity render state. So we'll change get texture location and create render state as well, and just rename this here to the render state so that's easier to understand. And then we want to override the extract render state, and this is basically where we go ahead and set all of the data onto our render state from our entity. So after we've called the super, we want to do state.idle animation state, and we want to copy that from entity.idle animation state. And you see that is complaining because that is not public inside of our entity class. So we just need to go in here and make sure that these are public as well, just like that. And then you just want to repeat that for your tame and sit animations as well. Now, once we've done that, the final class to do is going to be our model class. So first of all, let's change this to no longer use living entity render state and instead use our example entity render state. We need to then change the setup anim to use that as well. Once we've done that, we need to now create some keyframe animations inside of our model. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a private final keyframe animation, and this will be the idle animation. And then we're going to duplicate this for the tame and the sit animation. So let's do tame and sit. And then at the end of the constructor, we're going to initialize these. So we're going to say this.idle animation is going to equal, and this is going to equal our example entity animations .idle.bake, and that will just pass in the root. And then we just want to once again duplicate this for our tame and sit animations. Next, we'll go down to setup anim, and we need to go ahead and modify this quite a bit. So at the very top, just below our super.setup anim, we need to say this.idle animation .apply, and we're going to apply state.idle animation state and state.age in text. And we just want to replicate this for the tame animation, which we're going to do as well, just like that. Now, for the sit animation, we're only going to want to apply the sit animation if the tame animation is not currently playing. So I'm going to say if not state.tame animation state.is started, then we're going to say this.sit animation .apply state.sit animation state.age in text. We're then going to duplicate this check as well for both of these. So for the body, we're going to duplicate that, and also for the walking, we're going to want to duplicate that there too. However, for the walking, we also want to check that we're not currently in a sit animation state either, because if we're sitting or if we're being tamed, then we don't want it to be able to have any kind of walking animation. So we're going to do the exact same check there. And that is going to be it for our animations. Now, I will say, if you want to have a walking animation instead of all of these shenanigans, you would do something like this. So you say this.walk animation, and we want to call apply walk. And then inside of here, you can pass in the state.walk animation pos and the state.walk animation speed. And then you have the speed factor and the scale factor, which you will need to mess around with, but something like 2.5 and 2f is probably some good values here. As usual, I highly recommend you check vanilla for this kind of thing and just mess around with the values as well. Just switch them, kind of mess around with them, see what happens, and modify it like that. However, I don't have a walk animation, so we're just going to keep what we had previously with the math animations. So now that we have done all of that, we need to go ahead and run the client. So we'll run NeoForge, and we'll also give Fabric a run as well, and we'll load into the game and we'll see if this works. All right, so here we are. The game has loaded. So let's go ahead and spawn in our entities. Oops, I accidentally hit him. Sorry, entity, I didn't mean to do that. And you see that the idle animation is playing straight away, and our walk animation is still working as well. You see that only plays once it is not moving. So let's now go ahead and right click to tame with our example food, and we should see that our tame animation plays first, and then once that is finished, our sit animation should play as well. So let's test it. There you go, and then it has started sitting, and once it's sitting, it can start its idle animation again as well. Let's test this in NeoForge 2. There you go, tame animation, and it sits. And obviously if I get it up, I don't have any animation to like reverse the sitting, so that's not an animation I have, but obviously you could create one if you wanted. But if I make it sit again, you see that it sits, and now it is sitting. And the same is true, of course, in Fabric as well. So yeah, that is it for this tutorial. I hope you all enjoyed and found it useful. In the next tutorial, we will be covering entity inventories, so we can actually go go ahead and have an inventory for our entity that we will also be able to open when we right click it. Now, if you have any problems with this tutorial or any other modding issues, feel free to join the Discord linked in the description down below. I will see you in the next tutorial. Goodbye.